Personally, I've always been interested in Irish heritage and emigration, so naturally I'm intrigued by the influence of the Irish that is evident in Liverpool. From the accent to its architecture, I've noticed a lot of similarities between Liverpool and my home city Belfast. Both are historically large trading cities, and their ports are significant parts of their stories. The documentary will explore many ties between the two cities, discussing Irish emigration to Liverpool, architecture in both cities, and their connections to each other. The story of James Larkin, a Liverpool-born union leader that led the Belfast dock strike of 1907, then finally bringing it all together and reflecting and comparing on then and now, seeing how these two cities have grown. So, why would you want to document this? Well, what I've realised is it's not really been done before. There's connections made about Irish emigration and there's stories about Irish emigration, but no one's really went into detail about the specific connection between the two cities themselves. Though, coming from a family where generations have worked around the Belfast docks, I can assure you I know the best places for B-roll and I know exactly what to film. The documentary is an opportunity to widen our knowledge of this great city that we study in, and it's an opportunity to honour those who gave all to make it. So in terms of the target audience, it's going to be those who are interested in Irish heritage. So we're going to be talking about people who are specifically researching this kind of information. And whilst this does sound quite niche, it's important to remember that we are documenting something that is very important in the history between these two cities. So now this brings into question the age bracket, and I'd say it's quite wide. I'd be aiming for around age 20 to 40. It's going to be an educational piece, and quite frankly, it may give a lot of people some answers. I've reached out to individuals that will have an advanced knowledge of particular topics relating to Irish history, both in Liverpool and Belfast, including Professor Peter Shirlow, who is the head of the Irish Studies Institute in University of Liverpool, as well as Siobhan McLaughlin of the Belfast Maritime Trust. Both will have a detailed knowledge of the emigration of Irish people to Liverpool and of the cities themselves. Aesthetically, the documentary will adopt a theme that reflects Celtic roots and 19th century industrialisation. So this would consist of using a dampened palette with very muted colours. So we're talking about browns, greys, beiges, greens, dark colours that show the struggles of the period. So we're talking about emoting the stories visually. For example, the depiction of industrialised Birmingham during the late 19th century to the 20th century in the Peaky Blinders is an excellent format that I'd like to adopt in my piece. Again, a muted palette that brings across the emotions of the time. And then for animations, I'd like to adopt a similar style as BuzzFeed's Unsolved Network, using dark colours and somewhat ominous animations just to make it more emotional and mystify the whole story. The whole intention of using these dark, ominous themes is just to show that we are in a much better place now. The aesthetics are very important in the documentary style, and using archive footage to fit it and colour grading, it's all going to play into making a very good piece. Going into this, I aim for production to go as smoothly and as organised as possible. I've broken down the perspective scheduling to allow enough time for each stage. There will be no need to rush any stage as long as communication is optimal. COVID-19 has obviously restricted filming capability, so production will follow all COVID-19 regulations, and everything will be performed safely, including evidence of negative COVID tests. Interviews will take place over Zoom, and in the case of cancellations, I will have backup interviews ready, keeping in time with the ideal schedule so that there's no complications further on down the line. Roles will be assigned on the person's capability and ability to communicate. This goes for the interviewees as well. Consistency and communication will make this documentary work.